Have you ever felt that gnawing emptiness inside, the one you try to ignore every day? That quiet whisper telling you that you're not who you think you are, or worse, that you've been lying to yourself your entire life. You're not alone. Most of us carry a shadow within, a hidden version of ourselves we fear to confront. And yet, it is this shadow that shapes every choice, every fear, every regret. Think of Nietzsche, who once wrote, "He who fights with monsters should be careful lest he thereby become a monster." But what if the monsters you fight aren't external at all? What if they live inside you, hidden behind your carefully constructed mask? Your fear of your own truth keeps you small, predictable, and comfortable, but it also keeps you imprisoned. Plato imagined a cave where people are chained, watching shadows on a wall, convinced that the shadows are reality. How many of us live in our own caves, mistaking distraction, routine, or approval for freedom? You scroll endlessly, you seek validation, you chase fleeting pleasure, but the shadows remain, and the chains are invisible until you dare to face them. Consider this. Every decision you avoid, every truth you deny, it quietly shapes your life. Machiavelli might call it pragmatism. Freud would whisper about repression. But from a deeper perspective, it's your soul silently pleading for recognition. The part of you that craves authenticity, the part you've buried under fear, is asking one simple question. Will you finally see me? And here's the uncomfortable truth. Facing your shadow is terrifying. You may discover flaws, desires, or thoughts you've always told yourself were wrong. You may confront regrets you cannot undo, fears you cannot outrun, or ambitions you've long been too scared to chase. But this confrontation is not a punishment, it is liberation. Bonhoeffer once said, "When Christ calls a man, he bids him come and die." Not a literal death, but the death of your illusions, the death of the comfortable lies you've been living. Only then can something real, something unafraid, emerge. Imagine standing in front of a mirror late at night, alone. The person staring back isn't just you. They are every unspoken thought, every hidden desire, every truth you've avoided. It's uncomfortable, it's unsettling, and yet it is yours. By hiding from it, you feed it with silence. By facing it, you reclaim it. You become not just a reflection, but the sculptor of your reflection. Here's a story. A man spent decades living according to what others expected. He smiled, he succeeded, he fit neatly into every mold, but inside he was hollow. One day, alone in his study, he opened a journal he had abandoned years ago. It was filled with dreams he had forgotten, with questions he never dared ask. For the first time, he read them aloud. And, something extraordinary happened. His shadow spoke back. Not with anger, but with clarity. And in that dialogue, he found himself. Not a perfected self, but a real one. Fragile, complicated, alive. You may not want to do this, you may fear it, but the path is simple in theory, even if impossible in practice. Notice your shadows. Listen to the silence you usually ignore. Ask the questions you usually avoid. Your fears are not enemies. They are guides. Your discomfort is not punishment. It is an invitation. So, I ask you now, in the quiet of wherever you are, what are you hiding from yourself? What truths are you pretending don't exist? And what might happen if, for just a moment, you stopped pretending? Because here's the final twist. The person you've been avoiding your whole life is not a threat. They are the key. The shadow inside you isn't a curse. It's the map to your freedom. To know yourself is not easy, and it's not painless, but it is the only path to a life that isn't dictated by fear, expectation, or illusion. And when you finally confront it, when you finally speak to that shadow, you'll discover something strange. You are both the monster and the hero, the fear and the courage, the prisoner and the liberator. And in that paradox, in that uneasy truth, you are finally alive. We all have a version of ourselves that we show to the world, our public face, carefully polished and presented. It's the side we curate, the one we hope others will accept, admire, or even love. Every day, we step out into the world wearing this mask, believing it's what's expected of us. But behind this front, there's a hidden room inside each of us, a space we rarely let anyone see. It's a private sanctuary, tucked away behind closed doors, where our truest selves quietly reside. It's not necessarily filled with terrible things, just the parts we've decided aren't for public viewing. Sometimes it's where we keep our most vulnerable thoughts, our unspoken dreams, or the feelings we're not ready to share. Maybe it's a secret ambition, a quiet sadness, or a hope we're afraid to voice out loud. Or perhaps it's a flash of envy we quickly push down, a regret we can't quite let go of, or a memory that lingers in the background. This room holds the messy, complicated, and sometimes contradictory parts of being human. It's where our fears and hopes mingle, where our true feelings wait to be acknowledged. The most revealing moments happen when the door to that hidden room creaks open, even just a little. In those moments, we catch a glimpse of who we really are beneath the surface. We all have this space, no matter how much we pretend otherwise. It's a universal part of being alive, even if we rarely talk about it. The real question is, why do we spend so much energy keeping it locked? What are we so afraid others might see? Or what truths are we hiding from ourselves? It's not about finding monsters, but about discovering lost pieces of ourselves and understanding why we hid them. Sometimes those hidden parts are the most beautiful or the most in need of compassion. Sometimes the bravest thing we can do is turn the key and take a look inside. In doing so, we might just find the freedom to be our whole, authentic selves. The shadow, as Carl Jung called it, is a concept that's both simple and profound. It refers to the hidden aspects of ourselves, the parts we don't want to acknowledge, the feelings and traits we push out of sight. The shadow is simply the part of ourselves we try not to see, the side we keep tucked away, sometimes even from our own awareness. Like a shadow cast in sunlight, it's always with us, made up of feelings, thoughts and impulses we've repressed. No matter how hard we try to outrun it, it follows us everywhere, shaping our reactions and choices in subtle ways. These aren't always bad things. They're just what we've decided is unacceptable or what others told us we shouldn't express. Sometimes they're simply misunderstood or inconvenient. Maybe you were taught anger was wrong, so you pushed it down. That anger becomes part of your shadow, quietly influencing your behavior in ways you might not notice. The same goes for jealousy, selfishness, or any emotion you felt you had to hide to fit in or be accepted. Even creativity, if it wasn't valued in your environment, can be pushed into the shadow. leaving you feeling disconnected from your own talents. The shadow is a container for all the not-me traits we hide, qualities we deny, reject, or simply don't want to admit are part of us. For example, someone who's always accommodating might secretly resent never saying no, carrying a quiet frustration that leaks out in unexpected ways. The shadow isn't a monster. It's a lost part of you. It's the vulnerable child, the ambition dismissed, the anger suppressed. It's the dreams you set aside and the needs you learn to ignore. It's all the raw, unfiltered human stuff that doesn't fit the image we present. We wear masks to hide it, but it's always there, just beneath the surface. The shadow is not your enemy. It's the rest of your story waiting to be read. Exploring it can lead to greater self-understanding and wholeness. Everyone has a shadow. It's part of being human. No one is exempt, no matter how perfect they may seem on the outside. The question is whether we choose to ignore it or learn from it. By facing our shadow, we open the door to growth, healing, and a more authentic life. If the shadow is just a part of us, why are we so afraid of it? We fear what we might find, something that challenges our self-image or brings up old pain. Many things in our shadow are there because they hurt the first time around. We also fear rejection, believing that if others saw our whole selves, they'd turn away. These fears, judgment, pain, rejection, keep the door tightly shut. So we distract ourselves, leaving a huge part of our identity unexplored. Hiding parts of ourselves is a coping mechanism we all use, often without even realizing it. It's a natural response to the pressures and expectations that surround us, shaping how we present ourselves to the world. Take Mark, a successful lawyer who harshly judged lazy people because he feared his own desire to rest. He worked late into the night, convincing himself that constant productivity was the only way to be worthy. Or Sarah, the life of the party, who hid her loneliness behind constant jokes. Her laughter was a shield, masking the ache she felt when the crowd faded and she was left with her thoughts. Or the woman praised for her grades, who buried her love of painting to fit her family's expectations. She traded her passion for approval, hoping it would bring her happiness, but always feeling something was missing. These stories show how we push away the parts of us that don't fit the roles we're given, or the image we think we must uphold. We learn to hide what feels unacceptable even from ourselves. Sometimes we resent others for living out the dreams we've hidden. Their freedom can remind us of what we've denied ourselves, stirring up envy or regret. Our shadows hold our true passions, fears, and vulnerabilities. They are the parts of us that long to be seen, even if we're afraid to look. Hiding isn't weakness. It's a way to protect ourselves in a complicated world. It's a survival strategy, a way to feel safe when we're unsure how we'll be received. But over time, these hidden parts call out for attention. They show up in our dreams, our restlessness, and the quiet moments when we wonder who we really are. The cost of hiding is a life that feels less authentic, less connected to what truly matters to us. We all have these narratives running in the background, shaping our choices and our sense of self, even when we're not aware of them. The question is whether we're willing to listen to the quiet voice within that asks to be seen, and to the parts of ourselves we've kept in the dark. Hiding parts of yourself takes energy, like holding a beach ball underwater. It leaves you exhausted, anxious, and disconnected, often without knowing why. Denying your true feelings leads to choices that aren't really yours. The gap between your real self and your public self grows, creating dissatisfaction and regret. The shadow doesn't stay quiet. It leaks out in anger, jealousy, or even physical symptoms. Suppressed feelings erupt in unexpected ways. The greatest cost is the loss of wholeness. By rejecting parts of ourselves, we live a fragmented life. We miss out on strengths and creativity hidden in the shadow. True peace comes from accepting all of who we are. Facing your shadow isn't just about pain. It's about reclaiming lost treasures. The shadow holds not just bad qualities, but strengths and passions we've hidden. Suppressed anger can become healthy assertiveness. Buried creativity can bring joy. Vulnerability, once feared, can deepen relationships. Embracing the shadow leads to self-compassion and empathy for others. We see that everyone has a shadow, making us more forgiving. Integrating the shadow brings wholeness and inner peace. You stop wasting energy hiding and start living more fully. The shadow becomes a source of wisdom and authenticity. What was once feared becomes a vital part of who you are. Facing your shadow doesn't require a dramatic confrontation. Start with curiosity. Notice your feelings instead of judging them. When envy or anger arises, ask what it's trying to tell you. Pay attention to strong emotional reactions. They often point to hidden parts of yourself. Journaling can help you connect the dots. Notice what you judge harshly in others. It might reflect your own disowned traits. Share your discoveries with someone you trust. Speaking them aloud can be liberating. The goal isn't to eliminate the shadow, but to get to know it. Integrating your shadow is an ongoing process, not a one-time event. It's about accepting all parts of yourself, light and dark, strength and vulnerability. Some days you'll feel whole, other days old patterns will return. The key is patience and kindness with yourself. Living honestly means acknowledging your true feelings, even the uncomfortable ones. You don't have to act on every impulse, but you do need to recognize them. This honesty changes your relationships, making them deeper and more authentic. You set better boundaries and allow others to be their whole selves too. Embracing your shadow means embracing the full spectrum of being human. It's not about perfection, it's about wholeness. Exploring your shadow isn't about fixing what's broken. There's nothing to fix. We are all complex, contradictory beings, capable of kindness and jealousy, bravery and fear. Trying to be only good is exhausting and impossible. The real journey is toward self-acceptance, welcoming all of yourself. Growth comes from loving the imperfect being you are. Our cracks are part of our unique story. Be gentle with yourself. This is a lifelong process, not a race. The shadow is not your enemy, but a guide to a more authentic life. By facing it, you step into a more honest version of the light. In a world that asks us to be one thing, choosing to be your whole self is the bravest journey of all.